Hello everybody, welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today we're going to be taking the PMDG 777 freighter as Kalitta Air under DHL operations from New York JFK across over to Cincinnati. Boarding just finished, as you can see the loader just left. Doors are about to close here. We're going to hop in the flight deck here, get the APU started, and get the other ground connections to disappear. And then we'll get push back and start our engines, and then we can get on out of here and depart out of JFK, make our way towards Cincinnati. Weather in JFK is a bit snowy around the airport. It's a default airport, so there's not going to be a lot on the actual airport grounds, but Cincinnati, there is some snow around the airport and on the airport, so we'll see that when we go there, because we'll be flying through some nice weather towards Cincinnati. So we're going to hop in the flight deck, though, and go from there. All right, we're on the flight deck here. We're going to take a look up top, and we're going to make sure everything is on that we want on. Very good. We'll go to APU on, keep that for a bit. Door should be closing here very shortly because we're going to get the ground equipment gone and stairs. Look at the size of that pushback tug. That's a large pushback tug, so that's what's going to be pushing us back here out of the DHL apron in JFK. All right, APU is up and running. We're going to take a look at our EFB. Doors are armed and everything is closed, and we're going to release the ground power here very shortly. Just want to make sure APU is perfect. APU running. And yep, that is good. APU gen is on. We'll turn off the exterior power. There we go. APU running. That looks nice. We're going to release the ground power. There we go. And set the parking brake. There we go, because we don't want to roll at all. And remove the chocks. Okay. Doors good, ground equipment's all removed, and ground connections are all removed, so that looks good there. Alright, we'll get the beacon light on and call up ground for pushback, and then we can start our engines. Alright, we're going to release the parking brakes. There we go. Parking brake released. We'll take a look up top, turn our packs left and right off. Everything up top looks good. Fuel pumps on. We'll go with engine 2 start. Engine 2 is starting up. There we go. And we'll hear the engines because it's the Boris sound pack. I'll have a link in the description to that sound pack as well. Alright, and we'll start engine number 1 now. Go up to the top, switch that to start. And we'll set our parking brake. And we'll start engine 1 now. Alright, there's our hand signal received. Awesome. We'll now give our flaps 5. There we go, flaps 5 set, brake to RTO. And we're going to go to flight controls. I think it's that one there. And then we'll also look down here because we're also going to make sure trim set perfect. And then we'll do a quick left aileron, right aileron, full down, full up, and also do our rudder check, left rudder, right rudder. Okay, controls are free. We'll go back to our engine page. That looks good. To our stat page. Look up top. Everything's looking good. Awesome. We'll turn our packs back on. And the APU can go off, as we have our gens already on. So APU off. Everything up top looks good. We'll throw our taxi light on. And we'll start a taxi to runway 22 right for departure out of JFK. All right, we are approaching the runway here, the hold short line. So we'll take a look up top here and get all our landing lights on. Landing lights on there, runway turnoff, strobe light. Logo doesn't need to be on because it's daytime. All lights are on, that looks good. Up top looks good. Flaps 5, RTO brake is on, LNAV, VNAV. And we're good. We're going to be climbing up to 320 for our cruise altitude on our way to Cincinnati, which is about an hour-and-a-half flight. We'll enter the runway here. And then we'll get ready for our departure. Haven't flown this aircraft for a while, but it's a nice aircraft, the Boeing 777. Alright, I have control. Everything looks good. We'll do our takeoff checklist quickly. Alright. We'll give some power. Nose down pressure. And takeoff power. Takeoff power set. And listen to those engines roar. Checked.
80 knots.
Neutral on the stick.
V1. Rotate.
And rotate.
Positive ring.
Gear coming up. And there we go. Nice climb out of JFK. We'll now follow the flight directors. And we'll engage autopilot now. And there we go, autopilot engage. We'll go flaps up. Flaps coming up. Auto brake has been disarmed. Autopilot engage, and we are on the climb out. We will turn off our taxi light, which is just going to be up here. Taxi light off, and everything else is looking good. Once we hit 10,000 feet, we'll do our landing lights and everything off, but we also want to go to our legs page here. Zoom out just a little bit to see where we need to go. And we're going to go direct to RBV waypoint. We'll throw it there and execute. There we go, and we'll fly now directly to our next waypoint and continue our climb out. All right, we're just passing our 10,000 foot mark. There we go. We'll take a look up top. Landing lights off, runway turnoffs off, wing light off, and taxi light has already been off, so that all looks good. Up top looks good. Fuel check, everything looks good there. And now we will just continue our climb out and make our way now to our cruise altitude of flight level 320. All right, we're coming up to our cruise altitude here of flight level 320, 32,000 feet. There we go, we hit it. We cruise at that now. Everything's looking good in the flight deck here. We take a look up top, everything looks good there. Take a look down here. Fuel, flight plan, all that looks good. We don't start at top of descent until JBiz, and that's pretty much where we will start descent, just before, somewhere in this area. Everything's looking good though. We're just going to continue cruising here at flight level 320 and make our way over to Cincinnati. It's probably going to be a nice comp flight as well. All right, we are coming up to our top of descent here. We're going to bring our altitude knob down to, I think, 3,000 if I'm not mistaken. I'm just going to look on my iPad here and just see what the NavRef charts tell me. Yeah. Well, technically 2,500, but let's say 3,000 for now. So we have 3,000 MCP. Pretty much we just wait till we get top of descent, and then the aircraft will start its top of descent automatically and make its way on down to our 3,000 feet for the localizer ILS approach into Cincinnati, runway 18 left. There is no winds for some odd reason, and not showing us, for some reason it's not showing us any winds in Cincinnati, so I wonder if it's just calm winds right now, because I don't see anything. Yeah, wind calm, so looks like there's actually no winds. It's not showing any direction of winds at all, which is nice. That means it's gonna be a nice smooth approach and landing hopefully into Cincinnati. There's clouds and snow around, so it's gonna be very cold there, but otherwise should be pretty good from there on. But we're gonna be hitting our top of descent here very shortly. We might have to use a speed brake, we'll see. We're very, very high above it, of course, but it'll automatically start descent here and stay on path. Let's see. And there we go. Starting our descent on our way down, which is going to be fluctuating a lot in the vertical speed there. Stay on the path, but right now we are making our way on down to our 3,000 foot mark for the ILS approach, runway 18 left into Cincinnati. Everything's looking good here. We'll also look at our FMC, because you can go to initial reference. We're going to be landing flaps 30 at 142 knots, and then our ILS should be somewhere automatically tuned, I'm pretty sure. But everything else is looking good here. So let's continue our descent and make our way on down to 3,000 feet for the approach into Cincinnati. All right, we are coming up to our 10,000 foot mark, so we're going to take a look up top, and we're going to turn our landing lights on, runway turn off, so wing light, taxi light we turn when the gear is down, and then we follow here, and then we go here, and then we turn left, and then left again, left downwind, left base, and then turn final for our arrival into Cincinnati. Now, as you guys can see, it's nice and snowy out there, nice scenery, so that's about it, though. Everything's looking good here, though. And we'll just continue our descent here down to 3,000 feet. So ready for the approach here into Cincinnati, because everything's looking good. ILS has already been automatically set, and we're doing flaps 30, 142 knots. So everything looks good there. So let's continue our descent, continue our approach here for landing into Cincinnati. So I engage the heading hold right now because we're going to vector up to the end of this top of this white line here, and then we will then we're gonna go down to 4,000 as well, but we're gonna be vectoring up here and then turning left, and then gonna go onto this dotted line here at the very top of it, which is like the beginning of the approach for 18 left into Cincinnati. Now when we do land, we're gonna be taking a right turn off the ramp, and then we're at the DHL parking because Kalitta Air is operated under DHL, so we'll be parking just slightly off to the right there once we land. So it's not even a long taxi, which is nice. But we will continue. We'll disregard the VNav and disregard the LNav. We're about 210 knots. That's what the speed gave us. I also just engaged the speed manually for the time being now too, because once we turn left, then we'll go down to 200 knots, and then we'll be bringing it down to 180 and so forth from there. Now to see the distance in miles, I turn the traffic on, so then we have these lines here, so it shows 10 nautical miles, almost at 4,000 feet here, and then we'll be turning left here very shortly too. All right, we're gonna start our left turn now, so hit select, do our left turn here to get into the ILS approach path here. All right, localizer's coming alive. We're gonna hit localizer. as the Loke is coming alive, so then it'll engage it here very shortly. And we'll bring our speed down to 200. Go flaps 5. And localizer grabbed. Glide slope will be coming up here very shortly. I think that's the runway right there. Yep. We'll hit approach because that's going to be coming up here very shortly because glide slope is now alive. And I'll bring our speed down to 180 now. And we'll bring out flaps 10. Or sorry, flaps 50, not flaps 10. I haven't flown this plane for a while, so that's my excuse. Alright, gear coming down. Head up top, and taxi light on. And now we'll go to our final approach speed, 142. And flaps full. Hey, speed brake armed, auto brakes 2. Yep, looking good. Alright, we'll get ready for landing here. The winds are very calm. We got a 10 knot headwind, so yeah, winds are calm. There's no crosswind, so that's smooth. That's really nice.
$1,000.
Checked, and there we go. Autopilot disengage. No sounds, weird. That's okay though. I have control of the aircraft. Throttles are still going to be on auto throttle until we touch down.
$400. $300. $200. $100. 50. Glide slope. 20. 10.
Touchdown. Perfect. Versus green decel. And nose down gently. That was beautiful. Beautiful. And as you can see, there's snow and everything on the airport grounds and around it. Very nice approach with the snow. And wait for it. 60, clear the reversers and tap the rudders. Rudder brakes, toe brakes. And we'll take this exit right here, which is going to be Tango 4. Welcome to Cincinnati, everybody. Nice hour-and-a-half flight. Nice approach. Nice landing, I have to say. I like that. Very satisfied with that touchdown. And we used auto throttle. And then we bring our actual throttles back at the last second, which auto throttles disengage at that. Alright, we'll bring up the flaps. Clean up the airplane. Auto brakes are off. We already... Oh, we're going to give some power here. We're going to turn left and go up in front of these gates here. And landing lights off, runway turn-offs off, taxis on, strobe off, oops, strobe off, wing on. And APU will go to on. We'll get that started up. Everything down here is cleaned up. That looks good. And we'll start the APU and have that start up. And then we'll taxi along here and head to our gate to unload all the cargo. Okay, here's our gate. We're going to turn off the taxi light. There we go. APU should be running. Yep, APU is running. That's nice. We'll get ready to line up on this taxi line here. The sounds with the Boris sound pack. This aircraft is amazing. 777. Everyone loves the 777. And we'll stop right there. I don't know why GSX is saying to come forwards more, but we're way too far then. We'll set the parking brake. There we go. Parking brake is set. That looks good. Everything up top looks good. APU is running. We'll also confirm it on the stats page here. Yep. We can turn off engine 1 and engine 2. Engines are turning off. We'll also head up top to turn off our beacon light. That can go off for no reason. We don't even have passengers. Everything up top looks good. We will connect our ground equipment and call up ground to unload this aircraft. All right, that's going to do it for this flight from New York JFK over to Cincinnati. About an hour-and-a-half flight. Nice calm flight. Flying the PMDG 777 freighter as Kalitta Air. I have to say, the scenery into Cincinnati is really nice. With the snow and all that. I like that approach over that bank with the, I think that's a river through there, which is really cool. But yeah, that's going to do it. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.